Hey, third graders! Today's lesson is called Comparison Problems with Misleading Info. This is Unit 6, Lesson 5. So, third graders, let's look back at yesterday's math journal question from May 5th. There are 11 rows of snails with 4 snails in each row. 6 snails wandered off. How many are left? So let's think, how can you explain your thinking with words and or pictures and or equations? Third graders, I took 11 rows of snails, of 4 snails each, and I multiplied 11 times 4. I know 10 times 4 is 40, so this is one more group of 4 and it's 44. Then I subtracted 44 minus 6 because 6 snails wandered off. And how many are left? 38 are left. So I also drew a picture. I have 11 rows and there are 4 in each row. And then I crossed off 6 and that left me with 4 groups of 9. 9 groups of 4, wrote that wrong, plus 2 more at the end. Okay? All right, third graders, don't forget to do the math journal for today. Let's get our math workbooks out and open up to page 405. What's the error? Dear math students, Puzzle Penguin, as part of my math homework, I solved this problem. Carlos has 19 fish. He has 14 fewer fish than Daniel. How many fish does Daniel have? Here's what I did. 19 minus 14 equals 5. Daniel has 5 fish. Is my answer correct? If not, please correct my work and tell me what I did wrong. Well, third graders, when we did our math, we talked about using the comparison bars, and when we have a comparison problem, we first ask who has more. So let's look back. Carlos has 19, he has 14 fewer. Uh-oh, third graders, who has more? Not Carlo, he has fewer than Daniel. Daniel has more. So Puzzle Penguin, Daniel has more, okay? He has 14 more than Carlos. Carlos only has 19. So we needed to have you put Daniel on the top and Carlos on the bottom. And that means to figure out Daniel, we would have to add 19 plus 14, and we would end up with how many he has. 33. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 3. 33. Third graders, try to make those tens. That's how I do math in my head so quickly. Is my answer correct? Puzzle Penguin. Well, at the bottom of the page, we have some comparison problems with misleading language. Okay? In your notebook or math journal or wherever you can work this out, let's see if we can figure this out. All right? Number 2 says Daniel has 23 fish. He has 15 more fish than Carlos. So who has more? Daniel does. How many fish does Carlos have? Number 3 says Gina ran 12 laps. She ran 8 fewer laps than Bettina. Who has more? Bettina does. How many laps did Bettina run? So if you put these into a comparison bar, they're going to look like this. All right? Make sure if you don't have your comparison bars drawn that you draw them. You are going to put Daniel at the top. I just labeled it with a D. I put Carlos at the bottom, labeled it with a C. I don't know what Carlos has, so that's my question mark. And I know that Daniel has 15 more than Carlos. So how do I have to figure out that missing addend? I need to subtract, don't I, third graders? 23 minus 15. And your answer is 8. Super job. With number 3, third graders, Bettina has more, but we don't know how many that is. So she's on top. The B is on top. Gina has less. She has 12 plus 8 more because Bettina ran 8 more than her. If you add those two together, Bettina did 20 laps. Awesome job. Look at number 4 and 5. I want you to try these and fill them into your comparison bar. Bettina ran 20 laps. She ran 8 more laps than Gina. Who has more? How many laps did Gina run? Put the numbers and the question mark where they belong. Number 5. Sarah read 18 books this year. She read 13 fewer books than Lupe. Who read more? Lupe. How many books did Lupe read this year? All right. Fill your comparison bars in. If you have already figured out the answer, make sure you label your answer. For number 4, it's how many laps, and number 5, it's how many books. And let's check our work. All right. So we don't know what Gina ran, but we know that Bettina's was 8 more than Gina's. So we have our question mark here by Gina. And our answer is 12. 12 laps that Gina ran. All right, we don't know what Lupe ran, or we don't know what Lupe read, but Sarah read 18. If we add 18 plus 13, we will get, what is it, third graders? 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 31. Awesome job, third graders. All right, let's go to page 406. Solve comparison problems without the words more or fewer. Sometimes the problems don't have the word more or fewer to help you. So use the comparison bars. Remember to ask yourself, who has more? Number 6 and number 7. The coach brought 18 hockey sticks to practice. There were 23 players at practice. How many players didn't get sticks? Number 7, at a meeting, 15 people had to stand because there were not enough chairs. There were 12 chairs. How many people came to the meeting? See if you can fill in your comparison bar. All right, let's see how you did. The coach brought 18 hockey sticks to practice. Here's the 18 the coach brought, and I put HS for hockey sticks. There are 23 players at the practice. Some of the players did not get sticks. So how many players did not get sticks? And your answer is a missing addend. So it's going to be less. It's going to be 5. 5 plus 18 equals 23. All right, number 7. We have 15 people had to stand. Here's our standing people because there weren't enough chairs. There were 12 chairs. So I have got my C labeled for chairs. How many people were at the meeting? P for people. If I add up how many were standing and how many had chairs, I can figure out how many people were at the meeting. Did you get 27? Awesome, third graders. These comparison problems don't have the words more or fewer. Okay, so you need to read them carefully and ask, who has more? All right, try these two, third graders. Pause the video, and then we will talk about them. All right, third graders, hopefully you got your comparison bars drawn. And, if you don't use the comparison bars, we want you to try to use them, but if you don't use them, then you need to have an equation, all right? And make sure you label your answers. The question number 8, how many swings? Number 9, how many tiles? Make sure you label your answers, okay? All right, let's look at the comparison bars and how I filled them in. At the park, 4 of the children could not swing because there were not enough swings. So, swings, 4 could not swing. There were 20 children at the park. How many swings were on the swing set? So, third graders, 4 of the children could not swing. All of these kids were swinging on the swings, and there were 20 altogether at the park. So we're missing an addend. 4 plus something equals 20. Did you get 16? Awesome job. All right. Maylee stepped on 14 tiles along the garden path. 14 tiles she stepped on. 13 she did not step on. How many tiles were along the path? So some she stepped on, some she didn't. How many were there altogether? And I put P for the path and T for the tiles. If we add up 14 and 13, we get 27. Nice job, third graders. All right, you did a great job on your work today. See you again soon. I miss all of you, and take care.